Lindsay Lohan's story is one of the most dramatic arcs in modern Hollywood. She went from Disney's brightest young star to a tabloid fixture in record time. At her peak, she was praised as one of the most promising actresses of her generation, with the charisma and range to dominate the screen for decades. But fame arrived when she was still a teenager, and with it came relentless media attention, endless parties, and a dangerous lack of boundaries. Her rise was as fast as her fall, and the world watched both play out in real time. This isn't just celebrity gossip, it's a cautionary tale about what happens when youth, fame, and pressure collide. Born in New York in 1986, Lindsay Lohan began modeling at just 3 years old, appearing in commercials for major brands. She quickly became a favorite among casting directors, with a natural ease in front of the camera. At age 11, she landed her breakthrough role in Disney's The Parent Trap, playing twin sisters with remarkable charm and skill. The film was a hit, instantly making her one of Hollywood's most bankable young actors. For Lindsay, success came early, and so did the expectations. While most kids were navigating middle school, she was navigating movie sets and media interviews, building a career that seemed destined for long-term greatness. After The Parent Trap, Lindsay became Disney's go-to star for teen comedies. She headlined Freaky Friday, Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, and the cult classic Mean Girls, which remains one of the most beloved teen films ever. She balanced acting with a budding pop music career, releasing 2 albums that showcased her versatility as a performer. Fashion magazines featured her constantly, and young fans copied her style. By her late teens, she had achieved a level of fame few her age had ever experienced. Hollywood viewed her as a future A-lister, capable of crossing over into more serious roles when she was ready. Fame introduced Lindsay to the highs and lows of Hollywood's social scene. She was invited to exclusive parties, mingled with older celebrities, and experienced a lifestyle most adults would find overwhelming. The lines between her personal and professional life began to blur, and the constant presence of paparazzi added pressure. At an age when most people are figuring out their identity, Lindsay was figuring it out under a microscope. The combination of freedom, wealth, and attention was intoxicating and dangerous. Hollywood can be a playground, but it's also full of traps, and Lindsay was stepping into them without the safety net many young stars desperately need. By the mid-2000s, Lindsay's name was less associated with movies and more with headlines. Tabloids covered her every move, who she was dating, where she was partying, and what she was wearing. Photographers waited outside clubs for the perfect shot, and gossip sites thrived on stories about her personal life. The public's fascination shifted from her career to her behavior. Instead of talking about her acting ability, the conversation revolved around her nightlife and rumored feuds. This shift in focus damaged her reputation in the industry, making it harder for her to land roles that matched her talent. The media circus was relentless, and Lindsay was at the center of it. In 2007, Lindsay's life took a sharp turn when she was arrested for driving under the influence and possession of cocaine. Just weeks later, she faced another DUI arrest, cementing a troubling new image. Court appearances and mugshots became regular occurrences, and her legal problems became tabloid staples. These incidents were more than embarrassing. They made Hollywood executives nervous about hiring her. Studios began questioning her reliability, fearing delays and insurance issues. What had once been a promising career was now overshadowed by public scandals. The actress who had once been Disney's Golden Girl was now viewed as a risky bet for any production. Following her arrests, Lindsay entered rehab for the first time in 2007. Over the next several years, she would check into treatment multiple times, sometimes voluntarily and sometimes by court order. While she occasionally appeared to make progress, relapses were common, and the cycle of recovery and setback became part of her public narrative. She spoke candidly in interviews about wanting to change, but breaking old habits proved difficult, especially with constant media scrutiny and a social circle that often encouraged bad decisions. Her struggles with addiction were no longer private battles. They were played out on magazine covers and celebrity news shows for the world to judge. Hollywood thrives on reliability, and Lindsay's off-screen issues made her a gamble. She was dropped from high-profile projects and, in some cases, replaced after filming had already begun. Insurance companies were hesitant to cover her, making it financially risky for studios to hire her. Even when she landed roles, her work was often overshadowed by reports of missed rehearsals or unprofessional behavior. It wasn't about her talent. Few doubted she could still deliver a great performance, but the unpredictability surrounding her made it nearly impossible to secure steady work. Slowly, the roles dried up, and Lindsay's once bright career dimmed to a flicker. As her career stalled, public perception shifted. Many began to see her less as a talented actress and more as a cautionary tale of wasted potential. The same media that once celebrated her style and charisma now mocked her missteps. Late-night comedians used her as material, and gossip sites treated her struggles as entertainment. This relentless judgment created a feedback loop. Negative press made it harder for her to work, and the lack of work made the negative press worse. For Lindsay, the court of public opinion was almost as damaging as her legal battles, and regaining respect seemed increasingly out of reach. Despite the obstacles, Lindsay never completely disappeared. She took roles in independent films, appeared on TV shows, and even ventured into stage acting in London. She moved abroad for periods, seeking a fresh start away from Hollywood's constant glare. While not all her projects were successful, they showed she was still willing to fight for a place in the industry. Each comeback attempt was met with mixed reactions, some rooting for her, others skeptical she could truly change. Still, her persistence proved that, despite everything, she wasn't ready to give up on her passion for performing. In recent years, Lindsay has focused on rebuilding her life on her own terms. She opened nightclubs in Greece, explored business ventures, and carefully chose her acting projects. Her starring role in Netflix's Falling for Christmas in 2022 marked a small but significant return to the mainstream. This new chapter is less about chasing the intense spotlight of her early years and more about stability. She has acknowledged her mistakes and expressed a desire to move forward, creating a version of success that prioritizes her health and independence over Hollywood's relentless demands. Lindsay's story underscores how brutal it can be to grow up in the public eye. Every teenager makes mistakes, but hers were magnified and preserved online forever. She didn't have the privacy to learn, stumble, and recover out of view. Instead, her missteps became entertainment, and the industry's unforgiving nature left little room for grace. Her journey mirrors that of other young stars who found fame before they were ready for its pressures. The combination of immense talent, overwhelming attention, and a lack of strong guidance can be toxic, and Lindsay paid that price in full. The rise and fall of Lindsay Lohan is about more than one actress's troubled career. It's a story about the human cost of fame. She had the skill and charisma to dominate the industry, but without the right support system, even the brightest stars can falter. Her life is a cautionary tale for young performers chasing stardom, a reminder that talent alone isn't enough to survive in Hollywood. Yet it's also a story of resilience, because despite the setbacks, Lindsay continues to work, rebuild, and redefine herself. And in an industry known for quick exits, the fact that she's still standing says something. Lindsay Lohan's journey shows how quickly the spotlight can shift from a gift to a curse. She's lived through a rise, a fall, and countless attempts at redemption, all under relentless public scrutiny. Her story isn't over. It's still being written, and maybe her greatest chapter is yet to come. If her story made you think about the real cost of fame, hit that like button, share this video with someone chasing big dreams, and subscribe to Behind the Glory. Because behind every headline, there's a deeper story, and we're here to tell it.